my beautiful seekers, my beautiful souls, whatever you feel like being called like. Does that make sense? No. I can't bring myself to take it off. I can tell y'all are all... Okay. Hi, welcome to Daughter of Wind. I don't know how long we're going to be saying that. I wonder what she means by that. But that being said, welcome to Daughter of Wind Tarot. My name is Mara Bird. This is your reading. We're going to hop right in. We're going to skip all the housekeeping. Housekeeping can come later. We are just going to do a hot and juicy, piping, steaming gossip read because we haven't done it in a couple of weeks. And to be perfectly honest with you, it gets the best numbers. That's right. It's called utilizing the algorithm. That, and it's also fun, right? So, anywho, we are going to start off with the Animal Spirit. It's Colette Baron Reed Animal Spirit deck, I believe, because we're also using the Unknown Animal Spirit Oracle deck by Kim Kranz. I love that. Stingray on the bottom. What's his name? God rest his soul. Who got the Australian? Oh, that's interesting that that's coming in to the storyline. And then we've got the 8 Coins Tarot deck. So we're just going to kind of roll through this, hopefully not have to pause it. I am at an Airbnb, so you might, I always have to make sure that I'm keeping my voice levels down. This particular one, they're like silence at all times. They're like, I gotta work. So, anywho. Okay, pile number 1, where are we at? Oh, I love that under 2 minute. Yeah, if you're interested in hanging out and checking out a pile and you like what you hear, or whether it resonates or not, if you like what you hear, you like my style, please consider giving it a like. It helps with the algorithm, but also considering subscribing and maybe even getting a private reading. You can find my Fiverr gigs up in the description box below and bottom in the banner. There's a little link and yeah, all the good stuff. I'm trying to remind myself to be like an actual businesswoman and like tell you where you can find me, right? It used to be Gmail. I don't know, I might go back to it. I don't know. For some reason, I think it freaks people out to go on to Fiverr. That doesn't make any sense, but I also haven't been that consistent. Okay, I'm in your energy now. Pile number 1. I feel like you got a lot of things, like, I feel like this, I don't feel like you're doing it very well. I feel like you got a lot of things going on, you got a lot of ideas, but you're having a difficult time compartmentalizing them. So let's go ahead and just get an anchor card here and see where we're just gonna, okay, we're gonna do 3. Past, present, future. We're gonna keep these easy peasy. We've got this canary spirit, sing your own song. So I definitely feel like that's like a very much like, not just a hermit energy. I feel like you have taken a step off of the beaten path. Ooh, with the watch and wait. Oh, that's interesting. I feel like that might be other people's energy. We will see. We're not taking anything. We've got the, oh, you were never alone. Wow, look at the progression. Okay, I'm not gonna even, look, I've got to put that down. Oh my gosh, that's, yeah, there's 2 sides of you. I think, oh, okay, that's what's going on. Because, like, there was the, let me show you this. There was a horse on top, and I hadn't even shuffled this deck. And then we had the stingray that, like, showed its little face here, and I flipped it. And it was here, and I feel like people, you know, stingray is like somebody who's just getting their confidence. And then you get the horse, which is like, I'm a Clydesdale. What did you expect? And then we have this canary spirit. So canary, if you don't know the story, I didn't actually know this until I started watching a couple readers, and that flew out of my hand, and it's no longer. Yeah, it's, oh gosh, what a dichotomy. It flew over here, like, so it's canary spirit in reverse to this horse spirit. So I definitely feel, yeah, I definitely feel that the gossip on you is that people thought you were this canary. First of all, they could think that you were like, I know that sounds terrible, but depending on where you were working, like maybe a narc or like, I was going to say whistleblower just because of the notes and everything like that. Someone who's not afraid to like point out the things that are wrong, but I don't feel like you're like some Trojan horse that infiltrates places, and I don't feel like this. I think you're a natural channeler. I feel like you're a natural empath. I feel like you're a natural intuitive. So if you're in the space or the whatever, or something's going to come up. You're going to start like speaking, and you don't even know it. You might be telling a story about yourself, but something that is directly related to the person that you're talking to, like, comes out of your mouth, and they're like, does she know, or how could she know, or how could they be, you know what I mean? So there might be a lot of people here also in the spiritual closet where you might want to come out of it, because people might think like something untoward. I think it's better for people to know that you're natural intuitive and they're like, oh, she's picking up on me, versus thinking like you're going. I feel like some people may think that you're like trying to like get information them in nefarious ways or something like that. That's just a side note for something. But we've got this canary. So the canary in the coal mine. I haven't really looked this up, and I'm like, as it goes on the list for things that we have to look up. But from what I've heard, old folklore is that miners kept a canary in the coal mine, and because canaries are so sensitive that if there was any type of like gas leak or something that was like coming down the line that they couldn't hear or feel or anything like that, the canary would be the first thing to die, and then everybody knew to get the hell out. So I definitely feel like people just like maybe have to, or feel like they have to tiptoe around you, or just you look like this delicate type of thing. There's something about you that people see that's like very small. You're like kind of doing, you're like doing my own thing, what have you. And you know, there might be this frailty. People need, they feel like they need to protect you from things. And then I get this watch and wait, the seahorse spirit, and it's kind of, I feel, okay, very interesting, because this came up in a reading and I had to watch the reading, and it is coming up again of the seahorse. I don't know, I don't want to butcher or like completely make an ass of myself on here, but I do know, what I do know about the seahorse is that the feminine like births the babies, and then the masculine actually takes care of them. And so I feel this energy is like a very, because like there's this exoskeleton, like there's this bony, like rigid, like it's the horse, but it's also like this watery type of like hangs onto the coral and like doesn't do any damage, and like protects the young, but like isn't like super aggressive. So I feel like there's this balance of masculine and feminine in you. And so like this very effeminate damsel in distress kind of energy here that you have here. And people are realizing that you have this exoskeleton, that like you're very balanced, but even though you're very balanced, you're still like high vibrational, and that you're hovering. I feel like people know that something's coming. Watch and wait, this hovering. It's like you're doing your own thing, you're in hermit mode. And because you're in hermit mode, this might be because people know you, or it could just be this anticipation. Your energy could be surging. I definitely get a little bit of like, not just water vibes, but scorpionic vibes. Like there's something kind of, I feel like this impending, not doom, maybe doom for some people, but this wave, this energetic wave that people are just like kind of waiting. It's like that. I always, when I get on the TikToks and I see the people that are doing like the video, like the person that's like waiting there, but they're like kind of doing this weird pulsating thing before they like take a step forward or whatever. That's what and I see like couples doing it together, and they're like pulsating together, like they're about to like make a move in the video game. That's exactly where I feel you are right now. Is that like everybody, you are and they are. I feel like people are just like holding their breath with bated breath, waiting to see what you're going to do next. It's very, very interesting. And I think whatever is going to pop out of that oven, like we say that oven, I'm not saying that any of y'all are preggers, because we're not trying to go that way, but I'm definitely going to say there is something that is about to be birthed that people are just going to be in love with. Look, this is otter spirit. Otter is like, and it's not like this, like in love with like this masculine or feminine, like attraction or whatever, and I must have them. It's this like, oh my gosh, there's this relatability. There's this, you know, otters, like they hold hands when they sleep and they float down the stream. Like there's just, I feel like people are going to be like, oh, you're the same. Yeah, I feel like with all of this energy, especially with like this hat here on top here, I had a hat or a throne or whatever, people may think that like you're really not part of the group, or like that you don't have anything in common with them or anything like that. Like there's like some sense of like you're on a pedestal, there's some royalty, but they may like, you know what I mean, or this is how they're feeling about you. May not be how like you carry yourself. You may just be like a really private person, but there's definitely this like sing your own song, you're solo dolo, like nobody can touch you. And then there's this watch and wait. And also if you look at the energy of the cards, and like there's this tiny thing, and this is like a more full-fledged, just as like you can catch something in your hand. This one you're like, it's a little bit more formidable. There's that energy of like, you're like, oh, I'm backing here in the corner, singing my own song. This one, it's like you're very present, and I feel like other people are present. Yeah, like I definitely feel like you bring people in the moment. I feel like there's a magnetism to you, like what's going on with you? I'm like, what are we doing? it's what's the gossip on you is that people are like, the people are in anticipation to see what you are about to pop out with. You are pregnant, you are that father. Yeah, you are that father seahorse energy that is protecting something, and you're protecting it with your masculine energy. You're letting your feminine, your creativity, regardless of whether you're masculine or feminine, there is something that's holding down the fort for you while you're able to go out and think of different things and go gather the information and do the research. There's something like maybe you found like something that really like catches your eye or whatever. You know, when we cook, when we doodle, when we get into like movement motivation, when we start walking or we start cycling, anything along these lines where we're doing something where our monkey brain is like completely being occupied with something. Therefore, like the rest of the creative brain can be like, okay, you're satisfied, now I can go like think of creative things. There is this, you have achieved like I just cannot stop right now, this symbiotic balance between your left and your right brain and your masculine and your femininity. And you realize also, regardless of what you were born as, is that there's nothing wrong with feminine energy. Feminine energy just means like you're receiving. What does that mean? Like if you're like a male, you know, a cisborn male, is like you're getting ideas versus like going out and hunting and killing things. Things are coming to you versus you having to go out and get them. It's all just an energy exchange. It has nothing to do with the plumbing. And I feel like you're starting to really embrace that part of you and really delight in that. Like there's just this, I think that's why there's so much energy and so much light, and people are giving you space. They're like, you are birthing something. It's like someone who's like people don't know this about me, but I had triplets. I had a pregnancy where I was pregnant with triplets, and it got to a point where I was pretty big with them. Like it was very, very obvious that I wasn't having one, and people just gave me their space. They were like, oh, you just have a pregnancy. They're just like, oh, that's a lot. Like there's a lot of energy, there's a lot going on. I'm gonna let the things generate and form and all of, you know, people are giving you your space. There's a protection, whether it's you, yourself, your spirit guides, or just the energy that you carry, that people like realize that you've got something in the oven. And first of all, you're not going to tell them what it is. Second of all, they're damn sure not going to take it from you. And third of all, I think they would rather know what it is versus be on your bad side. I feel like there might be people in your wake that may have like tried or maybe tried to take this from you, or there's something along those lines where it's not just respect, but there's a little bit of there are consequences for stepping into this person's energetic bubble. Yeah, I think people wide berth. Now hearing beep, 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 wide berth. People are giving you a wide berth. Why? Because they're realizing whatever you're going to come up with, whatever's going to pop out, it's something they're going to be able to relate to. That's something that they're going to be in love with. There's something that they're going to want to share. It's something that they're going to want to absorb. There's something that they know that they're going to benefit from. And I feel like this is not just like some fly-by-night, like you just got into some place and people like, no, I feel like you have built a reputation around yourself. And I think that's why I think you have earned this space around you. I think you have earned this. People are like, yeah, I'm going to give you a wide berth. And I'm like, maybe you should. Figure that out by now. I gave you one. Now maybe you should give me mine. Right? I feel like the people that have issues with respecting other people's boundaries have learned very quickly that, you know, it only takes one person to say no, to send somebody off in a tailspin. But I feel like you, less is more with you. I think that's also what's really like attractive. That's really what's magnetizing. It's really like the gossip on you, is that there is something that people cannot put their finger on. And you know what it is? It's called self-containment. It's called, yeah, you know, people are like, oh, well, men, they compartmentalize their feelings. Well, maybe you should. That's why they're the CEOs. And I'm not saying all of them. Like the women that are like up and running, doing whatever, they're the ones that take the emotion out of business and say, this is business. Right? Like there's a time and a place for everything, and we cannot just attribute those traits to a certain gender. It's called a certain personality. It's called a certain drive. It's a certain, yeah, there is some, yeah, no, there's a precision to you right now. I don't think people even want to, like, not even bother you. I feel like people realize that you have no qualms with, like, stating the obvious. And people are very uncomfortable with the truth being actually spoken. They're more comfortable with being understood, or like these passive aggressive moves or whatever. And you're a person that'll just like speak it out loud, and they don't know what to do with that. I feel like something you fought for. I'm like that sigh, that like oxygen. I feel like you've given yourself breathing room. How? Because you decided to like no longer waste your breath on people that are just pussyfooting around. It's beautiful. All right, let's get to pile number 2. Woo! That was good. I like only 3 cards. Let's roll with that. Where are we at? 15:05. That'll work. Pile number 2. What's the gossip on you? I keep forgetting. Like, that's why I have to write it down and get into flow. And then I'm like, what were we talking about? Do they love you? Do they hate you? I'm not quite sure. Because I feel a lot of feels. Pile number 2. Excuse me. The shower just dripped. I'm getting slow, like Chinese water torture. I think you're annoyed. I'm like, I feel like I need to go to this deck. I feel like you're annoyed. There's some, what's the gossip on my pile number 2? I'm like already like, ooh. Yeah, I'm getting this. Okay, now I'm getting like, I feel like I'm in kindergarten and people like, you might be the kid that like always threw a tantrum and kids could like feel it. I feel like people are egging you on. Oh yeah, I feel like people are egging you on. I feel like there's someone in your environment that's like trying to get you riled up. What's the gossip on pile number 2? This is fascinating. This is fun. Well, you know, I'm in a, that didn't want to go back in. Unicorn in reverse. Okay, so someone's not feeling special. That's why I love these cards. They don't need to give me, I don't need an archetype. I don't need tarot. Like, unicorn in reverse. I don't feel like I'm a unicorn. That means you're feeling, so someone feels a little less than. They might be like the big fish in a small pond I'm getting. Jeez, oh, goodness. We got dragon in reverse and gazelle in reverse. First of all, we have dragon energy. So dragon energy in the upright is still a little scary, right? This is the person that's like super possessive. Like this is like Page of Swords. Any of my readers out there, it's like Page of Swords on steroids, right? This is the person that uses their abilities or their psychic whatever or whatever they have, their monetary to spy on people. And then we also have, like, for me, this is a personal spying, psychic spying card. So you definitely might, I definitely feel like you've got somebody who's like crazy intuitive. Like these 2 cards that come out together in the reverse, which means that somebody's using their blessings, their divinely guided stature. If they're not, like, I mean, I feel like this person is psychic. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just like a warlock energy right here. Like, this is like high priestess. This is, you know, for my intuitives, everything like that. This is someone who's highly, and knows how to use it. This isn't like, I think I might be psychic. This is someone that, like, literally, like, is very intentional. Whether they're doing, I'm not getting, like, super witchcraft. And if it is, it might be somebody else's. Like, I just feel like complete surveillance here as much as this person can, which is so intense in this. It's like it's almost overdone. I feel like these 2 cards for me are so intense for psychic, like monitoring, that it feels like there might be like a backup system, like they might be going to a reader or something like that. And this isn't like a lot of stuff that comes out of my mouth, but this is, I mean, we've got unicorn, like unicorn versus dragon, and then there's this third party that's like keeping their, yeah. So just whoever that resonates with, that's going to resonate with you. I'm like, or do we want to continue with it and go moon? We're going to go moon. All right, we're just going to. So what's the gossip on you? First of all, I feel like you may not even, I feel like just you got some people watching you. And you got somebody watching you with somebody else that's watching you. That's, like, yeah. If you're not resonating with this, then it's not your pile. I feel like it's very strongly. This is someone that's got, someone, not like, oh, just on the other side, like a physical person that's trying to keep an eye on you. I feel like this person feels like they're in competition with you. Now that I've got like dragon and on unicorn in reverse, but you've had, look at the unicorn and like, yes, this is my card and this is my deck, but like literally I'm taking this card as is. Like there has been something I think this dragon tried to chew a bite out at you. And they're seeing how you're dealing with it. Balance spirituality with practicality. You know what the gossip on you is that just because, oh my gosh, as it falls out of my, that's so crazy. Like this is in the this is in the future. Okay, this might be like a warning to somebody. I'm just gonna, like, okay, I don't want to say warning. Right, I'm intuitive, I'm prophetic dreams, that whole thing, like all of the things, right? So this, that it falls in the future, if anybody's watched me for like, I don't know, the last 2 to 3 years, like I take very, there's a lot of importance in where the cards fall. And this fell out of my hand like this roly-poly and then landed over here in the future. I feel like if you are not interested in the craft or anything like that, I definitely have not had any interest in that. Like I definitely don't want to get into things where I'm like manipulating energy, whatever. But what I definitely also realize is that other people do not take heed to this. And just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean that I'm not affected by it. So now I'm getting to a point where I am using protection spells. Am I going to go like cast some weird love spell on somebody to make them love me? Because like, no, ew, gross. Like you may not be able to get rid of them. Like has anybody watched like those movies in the 80s? Like it's called karma. Like you put something out there and try and make somebody do something that they wanted to do. Like again, I don't judge any of my witches. I'm just saying, like for me, my personal like walk with my creator, like I just choose not to, but I will. Like I have had to learn that like there is a way, like people may be sending stuff to you and you have nothing to do with it, and you're not warranting it, you're not like, you know what I mean, trying to like nana boo boo type of stuff or whatever, but they're still doing it and it can still affect your life. So there are a lot of things that you can do, which we will be exploring on this channel, that you can just like go ahead and take their own energy and send it against themselves. Like basically it's binding. It's like where it doesn't hit you, and it not like, okay, you can even say return to center. I don't even, like, I just want to make sure that, like, me and my own are good and secure, right? So, there's nothing wrong with taking measures. Just like a lot of people are like, oh, guns are so bad. But if you learn how to store them regularly and how to use them and, like, how to, you know what I mean? And knowledge is power with everything. So, you may or may not agree with me, and that's perfectly fine. If you've got such issue with me, then you can just go get your own channel and spout off the way you want to. But this is mine, so... that being said, this is like you saying, like, yeah, I may be a spiritual person, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to take measures to protect myself. I think people have done something. I definitely feel like there's some history here, and people are wondering what you're going to do. Why would they be watching you so hard? Let's ask, why would they be watching you as I get a knock on the roof? Oh, different. Okay, why would they be watching? Why do you have so much? I'm getting like a scarcity, like a lack, almost like a 5 of Pentacles energy here. Like now that I'm touching the tarot, is like this. I feel like it's the people that like love bombed, but like just really aren't emotionally available, and so it's kind of that like they hate you because you're awesome, and they hate you because you walked away because they treated you like you were not awesome. Like it's definitely the people that like blame you and are angry at you for the things they did to you, you know, and you're just like, I just walked away because you suck. Like you were mean, you were shitty, you were jealous of me, you were talking behind my back. Like there's all these things that you have, but they're mad at you for like knowing it. Narcissist empath dynamic, if I've ever heard one, right? I was a shitty person to you. Why do you not like me? Just saying. What's the question? Okay, I'm not asking the right question. So what's the gossip? What is the tea then? What is the tea? We've got the moon and the 2 of swords. Nobody knows what you've decided. They know you've decided on them. They just don't know what you've decided to do. We got the 2 of swords. Because this is like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm blindfolded. I don't know. 2 of swords in reverse is the blindfold has been taking off. I know exactly what's going on, but you have not said anything about it. Let's see what's on the bottom here. The King of Swords. Look at this King of Swords too. Like he's the most intense King of Swords with the Chariot and the new. Oh damn, with the Death. And the 9 of Swords and the Magician in reverse with the Emperor in reverse. Oh my gosh. I mean, okay, when we talk about intuitive reading, like you got to read this deck, the back deck, but this is like someone that's very clear what happened and has moved away and moving away with the world. This is 3 major arcana, so with a whole new cycle. something definitely ended. Why? Because someone decided to get out of their heads and not be stressed out about it. Why? Because they realized that the people around them were like being manipulators, like mofos, like in reverse. What? We got an emperor, people that are using their power and their influence and whatever it is to try and be controlling. Why? Because they want somebody to not be defensive. Why? Because someone is holding back. Why? Because they tried to, I mean, we could just go on and on and on. They tried to present as the King of Wands here, right? With the Six of Pentacles, and like everything is even, right? And like everything's good. We've got this Three Cups energy. It's the sun. Everything's going to be awesome. But really, when it comes down to it, we have a Ten of Cups in reverse, right? Because someone is independent and they don't need that Ten of Cups. They don't need that extra Ten of Cups. They're very... I think you're pissing people off here. And here's the thing is when you piss people off and they don't have any control, they don't pay your bill, they don't pay your cell phone bill, they don't give you a ride to work, they don't, all these other things that like if you do not rely on them for control, then what else do they have other than trying to be a good person? Well, they don't do that. And you probably attract a lot of these type of people. Why? Because people want what they can't have. Judgment in reverse. It's not fair. It's not fair. Why? They can't rest because we got a Queen of Wands in reverse. You are not chasing after them. You are doing your own goddamn thing. They can't get at, I mean, can we go on and on and off? If you want a private reading, description box below. So yeah, no. You are, I wanted to say like I almost want to say unreliable, but undescribable. People cannot predict. People don't know where they stand with you, and it really drives them crazy because most people like have this sense of I have money, or I have this particular job, or this person is in this work environment, so therefore I know what they want. Like you just, and I'm not saying like, oh, a step above, it's a side step. I don't feel like it's anything like, oh, I'm above you, or like I've up-leveled or whatever. I feel like you're a lateral mover. I feel like you're in a certain environment, and if someone's coming at you in a certain way, you're just going to make a different lateral movement, not like, ha, 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 I'm above you, or whatever. Like, you just feel like, I'm just going to get out of the way and let you, you know, hang yourself or show me who you are, right? I don't feel like you give a lot of people chances. I definitely feel like you give them a little leeway. I feel like you don't just cut things off crazy without any reason. I definitely feel like there's a method to your madness, and a lot of people are not very keen on it. So pile number 2, put down in the comments, hashtag, what did I use for? I love this, it's from one of my readings in the summer, hashtag escape artist. I love it. Okay. Pile number 3, let's get into this. A different deck? What are we, oh, we're gonna use the, no? Okay. No, that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. Okay, that feels good. It's all about the feeling. Why does this want to flip up? Sometimes life doesn't sting. Sometimes you don't have to think on your feet. Sometimes you don't have to claim your independence. Those 3 cards, I'm gonna put them back in the pile here. They said we're not taking them in reverse. This might be like a past, because they came in reverse, but we're saying we're not taking them in reverse. This might be like a mindset that you're coming out. What's the gossip on my pile number 3? I feel like this is like, oh yeah, no, I feel it's kind of like the hangman being like up, or like in the reverse. Even when it's in the verse, it's the upright. Yeah, no, there's some type of perception, reflection. I don't know. Pile number 3. What's the gossip on my pile number 3? I'm like curious now. It's interesting. It's like this like bizarro world type of. You can't make this shit up. What did we say? Like, okay, so we've got the master number 22, and then we have truth transcends illusion. The dragonfly spirit. I guess what's on the bottom here. Don't trust the great mystery. There is something here that's like hidden. It's underneath. We got the master number here. There's, okay, it might be you. We got the deer spirit. Truth transcends illusion. What's the gossip on you? Not, okay. Wow. This is really, oh my gosh, with groundhog spirit. Okay, I'm totally getting this like one giant download. We've got the deer spirit, bring a gentle touch. We've got time to heal. We've got 2 master numbers. The 22 is talking about like having a new, right? When we talk about 2s, the 3s are like something's already going on. The 2s are like taking space, like making a decision. Like 2 is before we get to the 3. The 3 is like we've put some time in. The 3 of wands, like the ships are coming in because you've already put, the 2 is like when we, you know, the ace, when we have the idea. 2, doing the admin. 3, we put enough things for that to come in. 4 is like it's becoming a solid. 5, people are trying to compete for it because it's so good. 6 is because everybody loves it and they want it. 7, you're like, now I got to defend the moat. Okay? Just numerology in a short bite. And then we have the 5. 5s are all about change. If you see 2 5s, to my budding readers out there, if you see 2 5s in a reading like come up pretty close together, be guaranteed there's a tower coming out, okay? So this is like, and this is time for healing. This is shedding old skin. And we've got a deer spirit. And what I feel, my dear, pile number 3, is that people like really thought something else about you. And now they realize you are the deer. And the deer is such like this earthy energy. Like when you make friends with the deer, like when deer are so loyal, they are so sweet. They will share their babies with it. They will share their food. They will share, deer, the deer, like the animal deer. If you've ever, like, not just shoot one on a golf course, not just shoot them with a 10. And I'm not anti like hunting. I don't love it. But I mean, as long as it's being like in a control, like we won't get into that. Okay. That being said, though, this deer spirit is just as simple and easy as you can get. Very Virgoan. And then we've got this this time to heal, this snake spirit that's here in the middle. And I feel that people just really need to get over themselves about who you really are. I feel the gossip on you is people are realizing that whatever was projected, whatever narrative that they were consuming about you, whatever they were told or whatever they just thought about you is nothing who you are. We've got groundhog spirit. It's the thing. It's the people like, it's like the, like, I think that she's pretty or he's handsome or he's black or he's Caucasian, whatever it is that people like, whatever box they put you in because of how they grew up. It's groundhogs. It's the things that have been repeated over and over and over in their system, and they're growing up and everything like that, and what they continue to talk to themselves and say, right? And it's like time to let go of that. Like I feel like you have sparked something in other people, like, oh, maybe not all like women are like that, or maybe not all people from the South are like that, or whatever it is. I feel like you are causing people to let go of like the things that they've held on to for so long in their belief systems. That's the gossip on you, is that you help people break through. Like I know growing up, you know, people, especially like when I was in real estate and people would talk to me and I had all of these like recommendations and all of these, you know, accolades and like all of these, this alphabet soup behind my name as a real estate agent. And then people would come down from New York and like Toronto or whatever, and they would see little old me. I'm 23 years old, you know, still like a bit of a badass as a real estate agent, but they thought I was white because of how I speak and how I present myself. They were like absolutely shocked. I mean, noticeably shocked that I was of a darker skinned nature. And I feel like this is something like you may be like really young for your age, but you're like showing up to the orchestra like as like first step flute or whatever you call it. I don't mean to butcher that, but you know what I'm saying. It's like you are causing people to like put down like they're, you know, again, like with me, I will, because this is the only example I really have, or like being in the club where I'm at, where you have somebody that's really beautiful, you know, like a beautiful lady, and people just assume just because she's not smiling at you like she's a total B, you know, and it's like, nope, that's not it at all. You just never gave me, and like, I'm not going to give it away. Why? Because it attracts the crazies, or whatever it is. You are completely changing people's minds here. You're causing them to heal too. I feel like there's a lot of things that like maybe people said about them, or they said about you, or like all of these things. I feel like you're just like, there's inner healing. I feel like when you get around people, they're like, I'm not so bad. Or you might point out things that might be your spiritual gift, is like pointing out the beautiful things about other people that nobody, actually probably everybody has seen, but nobody's willing to say because they're terrified that if this person, if you being the person they're like, and I told you, like, you're so gorgeous, or like, you're really good at this. Like, you might leave me because you might get better and you might like succeed me. Like, a lot of people that are really excellent at things, nobody tells them they are because they're afraid that if they figure it out, they're going to leave them. And there's probably some truth to that. Why? Because anybody that keeps you from knowing who you are or saying who you are is a person that's really being selfish and wants you all to themselves. So they're absolutely right in what they're, so I think that you're just like, I think you're a topsy-turvy type of energy here. And I think that a lot of people are kind of like, I think it wigs a lot of people out. And I'm actually kind of loving it. I'm going to go ahead and get some Moonology. I feel like this is very, I think that I don't even feel like you're going out and saying, I'm going to change your mind about me. I feel like you're just saying, I am who I am. And you can look at me if you don't, and you can make your own decision. But I'm not shoving anything down your throat, and nor do I intend to. I already feel, I can feel a win-win. This card has been in my dreams, like, you can believe me or not or whatever, but oh my God, this card, this dream, this song, like the past 4 days, and I'm like, is it going to? It's the vibration of it. A win-win outcome is forecast. You may be left alone, you may be hit up, you may be whatever it is, but whatever you're doing, whatever you are doing to cause people to like really like double back and look at what they've come from and where they've come from and how they've been raised, and the things have just been over and over, and they just nodded their head and said, yes, mommy, yes, daddy, yes, spouse, whatever, I will believe that. I feel like maybe you're like causing people to like, yeah, that people are turning things up on their head. I think people are realizing that the people around them are not so like, you're go see that reading, number one, pile number one, not what they're realizing about you, not the intimidation factor. There's another one, it's one of my favorites and I keep forgetting it, and it's your catalyst energy. You come into people's lives and they can't forget, and then they, once they see it, they can't unsee it. People can't unsee you. But what they do know is no matter what you bring into their life, eventually, right? Like within like a good month cycle or whatever, something good happened. It may not feel good. It may feel very tower-like. You may have that scorpionic like pull, that energy. But people know no matter what. Like, here's the thing. It's one of my mottos. I try and leave people, places, environments better than when I found them. And I feel like this is no matter how people feel, like in the immediate thing, and I don't even think it's that far as hindsight. I think it happens very quickly when you're out of somebody's life. They realize you were always the win-win, and maybe they were the one who was like anticipating a lose, or expecting a lose, or even manifesting a lose. Pile number 3, Mi Familia. I love it so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.